All right, so today we're diving deep into the world of Larry Silverstein,
Yeah.
the 93-year-old billionaire
Wow, 93?
who owns the World Trade Center.
Sure.
We've got articles,
Okay.
video interviews,
Yeah.
even some of his own writing to unpack here.
That's quite a mix.
Yeah, it is.
Looking forward to.
And we're not just talking business success.
Oh, no.
You wanted the full picture,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So we're going to look at success tips,
Okay.
life advice,
Mm-hmm.
and even try to get a glimpse into what matters most to someone after a long, eventful life like his.
I think a lot of people want to know about that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, how do you get to that age
Right.
and still be,
And still be going.
yeah,
Exactly.
keep going.
So one thing that really struck me
Okay.
is how Silverstein's story kind of
Yeah.
challenges that whole overnight success myth
It really does.
that so many people buy into these days.
Yeah.
We're talking about someone who spent decades
Yeah.
building his empire.
Yeah.
Quite literally, brick by brick.
He's a builder.
Yeah.
Every sense of the word.
And he actually says, forget fast.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that it took him 50 to 65 years of hard work
Wow.
to get where he is today.
That's a long time.
It really is a long time.
Yeah.
It makes you think twice about those get-rich-quick schemes
It does.
you see everywhere online now.
Everywhere you look.
Yeah.
Social media. It's all like,
Yeah. You even-
3 easy steps.
Right, right.
Become a millionaire.
It's just not true.
I mean, it really makes you think
Right.
about
Like what real success looks like. And it's
Yeah.
not instant.
exactly
Takes time.
patience,
Patience.
strategy,
Right.
really understanding what you're doing
Yeah.
and the steps involved.
It's interesting, too, because he didn't just preach patience.
Okay.
He actually bought undervalued properties,
Mhm.
nurtured relationships, and waited for the right opportunities.
He was very intentional.
Yeah, it was a long game
Right.
of strategic action and calculated risks.
Interesting.
Not just sitting around hoping for a windfall.
He wasn't passive,
No, at all. Not at all.
very active.
And then here's the real shocker.
What is it?
This billionaire
Okay.
tells us
Yeah.
that in the grand scheme of things,
Mm-hmm.
money is meaningless.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He says the size of your portfolio
Yeah.
pales in comparison to
Mhm.
the importance of family.
I mean, that's pretty profound coming from a billionaire.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Did that surprise you at all?
It does a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you think someone who has achieved that level of financial success
Yeah.
would maybe have a different perspective.
Right.
But
It sounds
it sounds like he's really prioritizing
yeah.
what truly matters.
It really highlights the difference between
Okay.
intrinsic
Uh-huh.
and extrinsic
Yes.
motivation. And all the research points to
What?
intrinsic goals,
Okay.
like strong relationships and making a difference
Yeah.
as being the key
Okay.
to lasting satisfaction.
Interesting.
So Silverstein, at the top of the financial world,
Mm.
is basically echoing that research.
He's living proof in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's not just talking about it.
Uh-huh.
He credits his wife of 68 years
Wow, 68 years.
with being a vital part of his success,
That's amazing.
helping him make major decisions, even with the World Trade Center.
Really?
Yeah,
So she was involved in the business as well.
it sounds like it.
Wow.
He describes their partnership as a real team effort.
I like that.
Yeah,
A team.
a real team.
Yeah.
And that kind of strong, supportive partnership
Mm-hmm.
can be incredibly powerful,
It can.
especially in those high-pressure situations.
I bet.
Right.
I mean, especially when you're dealing with something as massive as the World Trade Center.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You need someone you can rely on
Absolutely. Someone to,
and have your back.
yeah, to be there.
Yeah.
To support you.
And when he talks about their teamwork
Yeah.
and being there for each other without equivocation,
That's a powerful phrase.
yeah,
Without equivocation.
it really speaks to a level of secure attachment
Uh-huh.
that research shows
Okay.
helps people cope better
Right.
with stress and setbacks.
It
It's like
just-
that solid foundation that
Yeah.
allows you to weather any storm.
It makes sense.
And speaking of stress,
Oh, here we go.
this is where things get really interesting.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Silverstein almost boasts about living a life full of stress,
Really.
saying that doctors are baffled by how healthy he is at 93,
Wow.
given the amount of pressure he's always under.
That's incredible.
Do you think there's something to that? Or is he just an anomaly?
It's hard to say. It's one of those things where
It makes you wonder,
you wonder if it's just his personality.
Yeah.
Or if there's something more to it.
like maybe he's onto something that we haven't quite figured out yet.
Yeah, maybe stress isn't always the enemy.
Right.
Maybe there's a way to harness it
To use it
as fuel,
to your advantage
Yeah.
instead of letting it.
letting it crush you.
Right.
It's definitely an interesting case study.
It is.
And it raises questions about the role of stress in our lives.
Big questions.
Yeah,
What if some stress is actually beneficial?
Hmm.
You know,
that's an interesting thought.
there's this concept called eustress,
Eustress?
which is the positive kind of stress that motivates us.
Interesting.
Like, think of the excitement before a big presentation
I could see that.
or the challenge of a new project.
The adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe for Silverstein, his work with all its demands and deadlines
Mhm.
acts as this eustress, like
Sure.
a driving force that
Right.
keeps him engaged
Yeah.
and energized.
So instead of being overwhelmed by it,
He's using it as motivation.
like he's turning that pressure into power.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about how we approach stress in our own lives.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if our aversion to stress is sometimes misplaced.
Maybe we need to reframe it
Yeah.
instead of always seeing it as a negative.
Like, what if we could find a way
Mm-hmm.
to embrace certain kinds of stress,
Yeah.
to use it to our advantage?
That's a really intriguing idea.
It is
Yeah.
definitely something to think about.
For sure. Yeah, it really does make you think about, how we can use stress to our advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, it's not all sunshine and roses with him.
Right.
He does admit that the toughest stress comes from concerns about his family's health.
Oh, yeah.
He says that's when everything else fades into the background.
That makes sense.
Really puts his priorities in perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even for someone who seemingly thrives on pressure,
Yeah.
the well-being of loved ones comes first. Always.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that we're all human, facing similar challenges.
For sure.
Regardless of our accomplishments.
Doesn't matter how much money you have.
No, not at all.
Everyone worries about their family.
Exactly. And, this brings us to another fascinating aspect of Silverstein's story.
Okay.
His disappointment that the world isn't at peace
Mm,
and his belief in our obligation to make it better.
yeah.
He could easily be enjoying a quiet retirement,
Oh, absolutely.
but he's still driven to make a difference.
Wow, that's inspiring.
It really is. You'd think after achieving so much,
Right.
he'd be content to just relax.
Sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Right. But instead,
yeah.
he's looking at the bigger picture
Okay.
and asking, what else can I contribute?
It's almost like he feels a sense of responsibility
Yeah,
to give back.
it's bigger than him.
Exactly.
This ties into the whole idea of living a purpose-driven life,
Yes.
which research suggests is linked to greater well-being and even longevity.
It makes sense.
It's about finding a why
Right.
that extends beyond ourselves.
Beyond our own needs and desires.
Yeah, something that motivates us to keep learning, growing, contributing.
Yeah, to make a positive impact.
It's like he's built these incredible skyscrapers.
These symbols of human achievement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's looking at the world and thinking, there's still so much work to be done.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
It's inspiring to see that level of drive and purpose,
It is,
especially at his age.
especially at 93.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it all circles back to that brick-by-brick approach he talks about.
Okay.
He didn't achieve success overnight,
Right.
and he understands that creating lasting change in the world also requires sustained effort and long-term vision.
Patience, persistence, dedication.
Yeah, and he didn't just work hard, though.
Oh, right.
He worked strategically.
All right.
Remember how he emphasized involving his wife in major decisions?
Yeah, even with the World Trade Center.
Yeah, he valued her perspective
Hmm?
and saw her as a key part of his decision-making process.
That's so important.
It is.
To have that kind of partnership.
Yeah, it highlights the power of collaboration
Hmm.
and having a trusted sounding board.
Someone to bounce ideas off.
Someone to challenge you, to
Yeah.
help you see things from a different perspective.
Absolutely. His success wasn't just about brute force.
No.
It was about calculated risks
Right.
and making smart choices.
Often with the support and guidance of his partner.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And he also stresses the importance of preparation and focus.
Okay.
He said you have to be willing to give your endeavors the time and attention they deserve.
You can't half-ass it.
No, you got to be all in.
Yeah.
It's about having a plan and putting in the effort to execute it.
And being disciplined.
Did any of his specific advice on achieving success resonate with you?
Yeah, his quote, if you didn't come in on Sunday, don't bother coming in on Monday, really struck me.
Oh, wow.
It speaks to his belief in consistency and dedication.
Yeah, like
You got to be all in.
all in.
But he wasn't just advocating for mindless grinding.
Right.
He also talked about finding your passion.
Remember when he said, I find working is my life?
Yeah, she loves what he does.
But that passion clearly fuels his drive and success.
I think that's key.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
About what?
How different would our lives be if we approached our goals with that level of sustained effort, strategic thinking, and genuine passion?
It's an interesting question.
Yeah, it's like a recipe for success.
Right.
But it's not easy.
No, it takes work.
Yeah, it takes dedication.
Perseverance.
And most importantly, passion.
Yeah, you got to love what you do.
He's a prime example of someone who has built an incredible career and achieved remarkable success.
Yeah, he's achieved a lot.
But what I find most compelling is his emphasis on values beyond the material.
Okay.
Love, family, and making a difference in the world.
Those are the things that really matter.
It's a much richer definition of success
She is.
than we often hear.
Than society often tells us.
Right, it's not just about the money and the fame.
It's about something more.
It's about living a meaningful life.
Exactly. And it reminds us that true fulfillment often comes from things that can't be measured in dollars or accolades.
Like the quality of our relationships, the
Yeah.
impact we have on others, the legacy we leave behind.
That's what really matters in the end.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From his unconventional views on stress and success to his emphasis on family and purpose.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating conversation.
It's clear that Larry Silverstein's life is full of valuable insights and inspiration.
Absolutely.
And there's one final point I think is worth exploring.
Absolutely.
His perspective on legacy.
Legacy, that's a big one.
Silverstein built skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Physical monuments to his ambition and vision.
Tangible symbols of his success.
Right. It makes you wonder, what kind of legacy are you building brick by brick in your own life?
That's a deep question.
Yeah, that's a powerful question to think about.
Yeah, it really is.
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of the bigger picture.
Right, like what are we actually creating here?
Yeah, what impact are we having?
On the world around us?
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't have to be on the scale of a skyscraper.
Oh, no, of course not.
Right.
It could be, a thriving business, a strong family,
Right.
a positive impact on your community.
Whatever it is,
Yeah,
it's got to be something meaningful.
absolutely.
Something that, reflects your values and aspirations.
Right, something you're proud of.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, what would Silverstein say if we asked him about his biggest accomplishment?
Well, that's a good question.
Would it be the World Trade Center or something else entirely?
I don't know. He might point to his family,
Right.
his long-lasting marriage,
Okay.
the relationships he's nurtured over the years.
Interesting.
Perhaps true success for him is measured by the depth of his connections and the love he shared.
It really challenges our conventional notions of success, doesn't it?
It does.
We tend to focus on the external markers like wealth, fame, achievements.
Right, the things that are easy to see.
Yeah, the shiny stuff.
But Silverstein's story suggests that true fulfillment often comes from a much deeper place.
It's about the things that really
The
matter.
things that money can't buy.
Yeah. And that's ultimately what I find most inspiring about his journey.
Me too.
It's a reminder that we have the power to define success on our own terms,
To prioritize what truly matters to us.
to build a legacy that reflects our values and aspirations.
And to make a positive impact on the world.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Larry Silverstein, I'm curious what's resonating with you the most.
Well, for me, it's that renewed sense of the importance of long-term thinking.
Oh.
Finding your passion. And of building something meaningful brick by brick, day by day.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that true success is a multifaceted journey, not a destination.
Couldn't agree more. It's been a fascinating and thought-provoking exploration of a life well lived.
It has been.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Larry Silverstein.
Absolutely.
If you like the podcast, make sure you subscribe for the next session.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring, and that it encourages you to reflect on your own journey and the legacy you're building.
Yeah, think about what matters most to you.
What kind of impact do you want to make?
And go out there and start building your own legacy.
Brick by brick.
One step at a time.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.